I suggest to you that if you are facing a challenge, don't stop. Stay busy. Work your plan. Continue to do those things that you know that work for you after you have evaluated yourself in the situation. This is my day, and nothing out here is going to stop me. And you have the power to do that. You can decide that you're going to change. Unbelievable start to this fight. Able to a good job. Vicious right hand. And the referee has already stopped the fight. Mamma mia!
Welcome to Jeremy Sports Network. This is Jeremy Sports Network coming to you live. We are talking Jorge Linares versus Luke Campbell, which took place on this weekend. Like I said, we was coming back to talk about this fight, and this was a really good fight. You know, I was pleased by Luke Campbell, former Olympic gold medalist, who put on a masterful performance, you know, to the best of his ability, to me. I mean, I was surprised by what we saw from Luke Campbell. We know what we were getting from Jorge Linares, who is a wonderful fighter. Wonderful fighter. And like I said, I was surprised, you know. But the thing that stood out to me most was the fact that Luke Campbell, although he went down early in the fight, the second round, you know, the kid showed guts. You know, he kept battling. He kept moving forward. He kept being consistent, you know, as far as things that he was doing as far as getting his punches off. You couldn't help but be pleased with a fighter who gives it their all. Now, we talked about earlier today, we talked about Hughie Fury versus Joseph Parker, and we talked about the scoring in that fight. But then, you know, in this fight with Jorge Linares and Luke Campbell, this was one of the better fights. Like, really, truly one of the better fights. And I was surprised. I was pleased. I was happy. And as you can see here, you know, in some of the photos that we're looking at, this was a really good fight. If you get a chance, I'm going to post the link in the description for you to go and watch this fight, those of you who missed it. But one of the biggest questions that is out there now, as far as this fight is concerned, is, well, after this fight, is now, are we going to get Jorge Linares versus Mikey Garcia? Right? I'm looking forward to that. I'm sure there's a lot of other people who are looking forward to that. And if we're able to get that fight, man, I could only imagine what things are going to be like, you know, maybe in the future in 2018. And I mean, I'm excited. I'm just trying to look at how that fight will pan out with Mikey Garcia and Jorge Linares. You know, we're going to do film study on those guys definitely, because those are really good fights. And the fact that those are really good fights, I'm going to be looking forward to two things. Is Mikey Garcia going to be too worried about taking on other opponents to where he may not take Jorge Linares as serious as he should be? And will Jorge Linares come in that fight with Mikey Garcia, you know, a whole lot better than he was in this fight with Luke Campbell? Right? So it's a lot, you know, that's going to be panning out and what's going to be taking place so far in the sport of boxing. But if you're asking me as a fan, this fight right here with Jorge Linares versus Luke Campbell, you have to tip your hats off to both of those fighters. Luke Campbell fought the fight of his life almost. You know, he started out early in the round very shaky, very stiff. And after that knockdown in the second round, the guy came back and seemed comfortable, more comfortable than what he usually was. And I'm excited, you know. I'm excited for what Luke Campbell has going as far as him moving forward in the future. And I'm also excited for what's going to happen and take place, with Linares and Garcia, like we said earlier. Now, those of you who are just tuning in, this is Jeremy Sports Network coming to you live. We are talking Jorge Linares versus Luke Campbell. Please like and share the show. It helps with the visibility of the show. But I want your thoughts. If you tuned into this fight, please let me know what you think about this fight. What you thought about it. Now, one other thing that we was talking about earlier when we was discussing Joseph Parker versus Hughie Fury was the scoring. The scoring in this fight with Jorge Linares and Luke Campbell, to me, I believe those were great scores. That's how you score a boxing match, One judge had it, I believe, I have it right here, 115-113 for Luke Campbell. And you had another judge had it 115, 112 for Jorge, and a 114-113 card, I believe, for Jorge as well, to give him the split decision against Luke Campbell. And that just shows that the fight was really close, Jorge Linares won a lot of the early rounds, and Luke Campbell came on very strong towards the end of the fight. But it wasn't enough, to give him the victory in my eyes. And it wasn't enough for him to beat the champion, But he fought a hell of a fight. And when you get fights like that, to that magnitude, you can't help but be happy as a fighter for what it is that you've done, the hard work you put in. You've seen it in the ring. You're able to go 12 rounds with one of the best fighters out there in Jorge Linares. Hats off to Luke Campbell. But also, hats off to Jorge Linares, right? A lot of people saying that it was easy work for this man. Do I think it was easy work? I'm not going to say it was easy. But what I'm going to say is it was eventful. It was challenging at most parts, just looking at the fight. And what was challenging was, what is it that Jorge is going to do differently, than what it was he was doing in the early rounds to just take over the fight completely, We were waiting to see will we be able to get another knockdown, or will we be able to get something really, really good from Luke Campbell. But what we saw was great boxing, and I appreciate that as a fighter fan. And for Luke Campbell, man, come on. The sky is the limit for this guy. The sky's the limit for this guy. Like I said, he's a former Olympic gold medalist. And with this guy and his skill set and what it is that he's doing right now, and he was able to go 12 rounds with Jorge Linares, to me, I'm like, man, a lot of people have to worry about this guy right here. Although he lost this fight, he still has an opportunity to become a world champion very, very soon. And I believe it's going to happen. I don't know what will be next as far as Luke Campbell is concerned. That's between him and his team as far as putting that together. But I know we'll hear in the future as far as where it is he looks to go as his career continues. But for Jorge Linares, we got to see this Mikey Garcia fight. We have to see not only what Jorge Linares is made of, but what Mikey Garcia is truly made of. Because we thought we saw what Mikey was made of in the fight with Adrian Broner, right? Broner wasn't really Adrian Broner that we are accustomed to knowing, letting his hands go. We saw more so of, Mikey Garcia controlling that fight, dominating that fight. And a lot of people say, well, it was a setup, and Broner, didn't take the fight serious. Hey, for Broner to do what he did as far as make weight, to me, that gave me the whole impression of he's serious. You know, he's really looking forward to that fight with Mikey Garcia, but he dropped the bomb on that, and Mikey Garcia got the victory. But can Mikey Garcia defeat a Jorge Linares, you know, right after that? Really two skillful fighters in Jorge Linares and Mikey Garcia. Very skillful. Mikey Garcia has a lot of skill, a lot of tricks in his bag. But when you look at a guy in Jorge Linares, he has just as many, you know. And in that fight with him and Luke Campbell, you was able to see, you know, some of Jorge's greatness. Linares has, I'm talking, that knockdown, oh my God, with the right hand, oh man, it was beautiful. It was beautiful. And when you start to see things like that from a fighter, you're like, oh man, he's only going to be better than what he is right now. He can do that. Can he do it against Mikey Garcia? It remains to be seen. I'm looking forward to it. I'm ready to see what's going to happen between the guys. But my thoughts on this fight is as what it is. Jorge Linares did a wonderful job. Luke Campbell did a hell of a job. And hats off to both of these guys for what it is that they gave us. I'm excited about Luke Campbell's career from here on out. I believe it's going to be really good. And I'm excited for the upcoming news, like we talked about earlier, with Jorge Linares and Mikey Garcia. But with Mikey Garcia, although we talking him and Adrian Broner, but there also been talks about him and Lomachenko, but we could scratch that out because Lomachenko's taking on Rigondeaux in December 9th. And we're going to be talking about that fight in another show. But this is going to be the name for Mikey Garcia. And I believe Mikey Garcia right now, you have to take this fight, and we should be getting this fight maybe Cinco de Mayo, around that time, maybe. What I think would be really good is this fight was on the undercard. Jorge Linares and Mikey Garcia on the undercard of Triple G versus Canelo. Right? Why not? Why not? I mean, two title fights, unification in both Jorge Linares and Mikey Garcia fight, and unification as well with Triple G and Canelo. Going down Cinco de Mayo. Maybe. But I think Golden Boy, that's something for them to think about moving forward, right? But like I said, this is something that's just being sprinkled upon when we talk about what's in the upcoming future. Like I said in our last show, we're going to discuss everything that took place in 2017 as boxing is as a whole, right? This have been one of the best years in boxing that we've had in a long time, with all of the fights we're getting. And it's putting us up for position for next year, 2018, to be a hell of a year in 2018. Next month got to come. And in next month, October 14th, we definitely got some really good fights on our hand. Then November, we got a couple of fights on our hand. And finishing the year out, which I believe Broner is supposed to be making a comeback in December. Nothing is final as of yet with that happening, but it's supposed to happen. And so I'm looking forward to that happening. just so we could see what we're going to get from Adrian Broner before the year out. And I believe he deserves a W. I want him to give us a W because I just want to see Broner get himself back in the mix. You know? I want to see Broner get back in the mix. And the reason why I say I want to see Broner get back in the mix is because Adrian Broner brings a great fan base. And I believe, you know, if he get that rematch with Mikey Garcia, then we really could see some things shaking and popping off. But I believe Garcia's going to go the Linares route and take that fight and then possibly come back and fight Adrian Broner. But it remains to be seen, you know. This is Jeremy Sports Network. I'm just bringing you coverage of Jorge Linares versus Luke Campbell. My thoughts on this fight, which, like I said, was a great fight. Luke Campbell did come up short in this fight. And shouts out to Jorge Linares on winning. He definitely displayed his ability in the early parts of the fight. And he was able to seal the deal towards the end of the fight to give him the victory. So shouts out to him. And shouts out to Luke Campbell for giving his all and putting himself in position to be making some noise in the division. He's going to be a future world champion, and I look forward to seeing what Luke Campbell brings to the table throughout his career. But like I said, things are going to only get better in boxing. We will be back later on today, probably around 3 o'clock, a couple of hours from now. We're supposed to have Coach Lopez on the line talking about October 7th event, Punch Your Way Out. It's supposed to be a really big event. I'm looking forward to it. And it's a really big amateur card. Detroit versus Atlanta. Those of you, make sure you follow my page. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that thumbs up. Hit the notification button so you could be a part of the notification gang. So you'll be able to get when we drop live. You know, we're going to be doing this more for the YouTube. We definitely do it for Facebook. Follow us on Facebook, on social media. You see the links in the description. As far as Instagram and Twitter is concerned, make sure you follow those pages, like those pages. And like I said, we're going to make things happen so far this year, all the way rocking to the end of the year in boxing, preparing ourselves for 2018 in the sport. But this is Jeremy Sports Network. Hey, peace and blessings, and I will talk to you all later on today with Coach Lopez. This is Jeremy Sports Network. I'm signing out. Peace.